All right, welcome back to the Airman Harris Show. I just recorded a whole video. The second time that's happened where my microphone wasn't on. And of course, no free promo. And I didn't have no sound. So when I got done with the video, I tried to play it back and there was no sound. But I'm going to make it again just for y'all. So as I was saying, like I said before, my ring light messing up now. Everything just going bad now. But anyway, now my ring light goes off. We're going to keep this party rolling. Car and Halo got track today. They hit me up, said they're going to try out for the track team, which is good. I want them to stay in shape. They need to stay in shape. I asked Halo this morning what event she's trying to run. You know, I'm like, you're going to run the 100. She says she wanted to do the hurdles, but she says she can't jump. So I'm like, I don't think you can do the hurdles. So she said she's going to do the shot put. The same thing Kara said that she's going to do. They both told me they want to do field events, but I don't know if they know, but you still have to run. I don't care if you're doing a shot put, the discus, the javelin. At least when I was in school, you still had to run. You still had to practice. You still had to, work out with the track team. It wasn't, okay, I do shot put, so I'm just going to practice throwing all day. No, you still had to do some stuff that was cardio like the other guys. If not, I'll make sure I come up to the school and I'm gonna make sure that they're making them do some type of cardio. They're not just about to be throwing no ball around all day and thinking that's track. That ain't no, not happening. No. The boys still they still in 3 leagues. I gotta upload their video. He scored a couple points. DJ got him a bucket in, shot fake, drive to the basket off the glass. I told him I'd upload it for him. I ain't even got around to it yet. But I'm going to get it done for them. They got a couple games Saturday. They got one Sunday. We got a game at the church Saturday. They got a game at Meadowbrook. And then Sunday they play at the field house. So, we staying busy. We staying hooping, getting it in. We might go to the park today, get some shots up after I pick them up from, track tryouts. Like I said, hopefully they make that team. But moving right along, I know I'm late with the Super Bowl. But who cares, right? No, I'm just playing. But I saw some of the game, I ain't gonna lie. But them one of my teams, and typically if they ain't my teams, I don't watch like that. I'm not a commercial guy, so I didn't watch commercials either. I clicked in on the halftime show, honestly, just to see what Bad Bunny's music was and what it was about. And honestly, I watched it, but I don't know what they were saying. And come to find out, I was kind of, I wasn't watching, but I was watching. I guess they were speaking Spanish the whole time. I just saw people dancing, and honestly, no offense to the Latinas or Mexicans or whatever, but it sounded like I was just, sitting in a Mexican restaurant. Like I was waiting on my order at a Mexican restaurant. So, I don't know, they ain't my type of music. Them ain't my 2 type of teams that I like watching anyway, but it was the Super Bowl. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks, so. But moving right along, it was a couple fights in the league yesterday. I didn't really see that Timberwolves fight, Hawks fight, but I did see Naz Reid holding on to somebody's jersey for about 8 minutes when wasn't letting go. But Timbers was playing in the league yesterday. I did happen to see that Pistons and Hornets fight with the guy on the Hornets trying to go at Jalen Duren. And Miles Bridges stepped up, got it with Duren. Then you got, what's his name, Isaiah Stewart with heat pads or ice packs or whatever on his knees, come running off the bench, trying to go at Miles, and they got into it, and Miles ducked a couple, swung at a couple, whatever. But I think Isaiah Stewart might get the most games as far as being suspended through that, because as in the NBA you can't come off the bench. If not part of the case, you can't come off the bench. He knows that, everybody in the league knows that, everybody in the gym knows that. So why are you the only one coming off the bench? I get it, you want to protect your teammates. I get it, you're an enforcer, you the Ron Artest, you the Charles Oakley, you this guy, you the enforcer on the team. But the way the Pistons are playing now, y'all winning games, y'all on the up and up, y'all trying to win, you're an important piece on the team, you're a vital piece. We need you to stay out on the floor. You running out there trying to get into a fight. It wasn't even a real fight. You running out there swinging, like we know you the enforcer, but you don't have to run off the bench. Now you're going to cost your team games if you get suspended some games, It's the NBA. It's not finna be no real fights. Nobody finna be knocked out, bleeding, black eye, punched, dead. Like, it's the NBA. Ain't nobody finna fight for real. I don't know. I just think he need to be smarter and try to stay on the floor for his team. Be like, we know you the tough guy already. You already got the label. I don't think you need to do more that's gonna hurt your team because you're actually like you're actually doing more now than you was doing in the past, and you got the label as the enforcer. You weren't doing nothing, but now you're more of a you're more of a threat in the game to me when I watch. So it's like we don't need you to be the guy that's finna get suspended for acting tough. You ain't finna go out there and just knock somebody out and get suspended. What you get suspended for pushing for? Like that's I don't know. To me, it's unnecessary, but I get it. But shout out to Miles, shout out to Isaiah Stewart. We'll see what kind of penalties or suspensions or both, whatever the case may be, come down on the Hornets and on the Pistons players. But moving right along, if y'all haven't been paying attention, the Jazz have been resting their starters. The Jazz beat the Pistons unintentionally last night. So the past 2 games, they've been resting their starters, Utah has, in the fourth quarter to lose games. From my understanding, the pick that they have is top 10 protected. So if they do bad, you get to keep your pick. And Benedict's got Jaren Jackson. They got Lloyd Markin. They got Kessler. They got Ace Bailey, George. All these young guys, they want another guy to put with that team. Danny Ainge does, of course, to make them even better and be a great team next year. Similar to what the Wizards are doing. They resting Anthony Davis. They resting Trae Young. Everybody's a couple teams. I say everybody. But a few of these teams are ramping up for next year because they know they don't have a big shot this year because of injuries or because of just their team structure. In general, they're preparing for next year. It's going to be a good draft coming up. People that made some decent trades to put themselves in position for next year. So teams like those teams are tanking right in our face to get good draft picks. But they play Sacramento tomorrow, I believe. So watch the fourth quarter of the Utah game and just see if those guys sit. They take those guys out in the fourth quarter so that they can lose games. Like I said, they did win that Heat game because, unintentionally, but keep an eye out on that, them trying to tank to lose. The Bucks lost to Orlando Magic. I think the Bucks, who was that? Kevin Porter played okay, but the Bucks, they ain't going nowhere this season. Giannis could keep crying. It was weird that Giannis wanted to get out so bad, and then as soon as he didn't get out, he posted a tweet like he wanted to stay. I don't know if that was weird to me. But weird to y'all, but it was very weird to me. If I was the other 29 teams, I'd let Giannis stay right over there. Since you want to stay there, I wouldn't trade for him. Let him stay there. Like he wanted to stay. Like let him the rest of his career in Milwaukee and don't trade for him. Let Giannis stay with Milwaukee for the rest of his career. But they did lose to Orlando. I think Anthony Black might have started that game, but I do think they might have to make some moves just to get him more minutes. He was coming off the bench. I feel like he's a guy, should be a starter for them in the future, whether they got to move Suggs, whether they got to move one of the Wagners or, they different positions, but they got to move somebody to find minutes for Anthony Black. They got to get Anthony Black on the floor. I also think they need to figure out, the situation with the head coach and Paolo Banchero because the best player and the head coach can't have friction. Either the best player has to get traded or the coach got to go. I think they need to figure that out if they want to win more basketball games. You can't have the star player and the head coach at odds. Most of the time, it's not going to work out, especially on a younger team like that, especially on a team that's trying to build, especially on a team, that's trying to win. Like, you don't need no further distractions than what the ones you already have that are basketball related. So I think the Magic need to do something about that. I did see the Cavs. They beat Denver. I like the James Harden thing so far. I know it's just a sample size. I know we haven't seen much yet. But James Harden, compared to Garland was more of a scorer. Like I say, James Harden, he can distribute the ball better. He's going to look for the lobs with Jared Allen and get those guys involved. He could be more of a playmaker than Garland. Garland was more of a get my own shot, create my own shot. Granted, James Harden is north of 35 years old. He still provides a big offensive boost, whether it's rebounding, whether it's throwing the lobs to get other people involved and getting assists. Or if you need James to come out and score 30, he can come out and score 30. And he can knock down a tray ball at any time. We do know he's an all-time three-point shooter. So James provides, a lot of benefits for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll see once Mobley come back how they gel together because Mitchell played good last night. Jared Allen played good. Harden played good. We'll see how they mesh together once everybody comes back. But don't sleep on the Nuggets either, because the Nuggets not going nowhere just because they lost that game. The Thunder did beat the Luka-less Lakers last night. Jalen Williams came back. We saw what he did in the fourth quarter. He just reminded us of, what he's capable of. The Thunder's the defending champions, and they, remind us that they are the defending champions. They showing that they still is the best team. But him coming back is a big boost for them. And we'll see how they finish out the season, how they fare in the playoffs, being the defending champions, and being that, every team is going to bring them, their best shot. They're going to throw everything at them and try to stop them. We know how it is being a defending champion and having that, that bullseye on your back. But moving on to my Warriors, man, we won by 1 against the Grizzlies thanks to my guy, Guy Santos. I like Guy Santos. He play hard, man. He go at the offensive rebounds. He crashed the boards. He crashed the glass. He played defense. He do everything. He plays hard. He's a tough guy. He ain't scared to get his hands dirty. He can shoot the tray ball. He does a little bit of everything. So shout out to Guy Santos. We need Guy Santos. We need Melton, Moody. It's all of our others. We need those, Will Richard. Who else? We need all those guys to continue to play well while Steph is out. Last night, they had way too many turnovers, trying to force the pass inside. I think a lot of times he's making the correct pass, but it's to the wrong person. He used to like Steph, despite what people think Steph is just a shooter. Steph knows how to make the right basketball play, whether that's cutting back door, cutting down the middle, or just cutting pitch. Steph knows how to cut to the basket. Steph knows how to get open around the rim. Steph is one of the best around the rim, especially finishing at the rim. Like Kyrie, like Iverson, like smaller guys finishing around the rim. Steph is right up there with them guys finishing around the rim. He don't get the foul calls or either the credit that he deserved for being a great finisher around the rim, if you ask me. But that is used to, Steph, Iguodala and them, Livingston and them, cutting back door, making that. He used to, dropping it off, cutting back. But these guys now today, Pat Spencer, even Gary Payton in the corner, Moody, like these guys want to shoot threes. Pies, they going to shoot threes, so they going to fake cut. They come back to the three-point line. Like guys ain't trying to go in there like that no more, unfortunately. So that caused a lot of his turnovers, which I think he needs to be more aggressive offensively anyway, especially at the clip he's been shooting the three ball lately and knocking it down. And just to hold us over until Porzingis, hopefully he gets healthy and come back. And when Steph comes back, hopefully Al Horford's health holds up. He always gives us a big spark off the bench, like I always say. Let Dede play the 4, put Al at the 5. Give Kerr more options with Porzingis coming back. We want to play small. We're going to play small. We're going to put Dede at the 3, run Al and Porzingis in, and run a big lineup. Then that's what we're going to have to experiment with, because I think a lot of teams are going back to bigger lineups. Teams aren't playing the small ball lineups no more, and it only worked to our benefit at times, and at times it don't because of our age and because of our star players, which Dede and Steph getting older. The small ball lineup don't work as good as it used to, and the personnel that we have, that we used to have, and that we have now, it works somewhat, but not all the time like it was. So Kerr gonna have to put on his head coaching hat and come up with a game plan and make adjustments throughout the game. Whatever it need to be, small, big, put Dede at point, put Steph at point, whatever the case may be, so he can win basketball games. Simple as that. He gonna have to coach this team. He could be like the 22 team, like I said. I said then that they could win it. I'm saying now that they got a chance if everybody can stay healthy. Granted, we don't have Jimmy, but if our others, we get one of these others to step up, whether it's Moody, Melton, or whoever else, can give us more minutes and give Pi less minutes, and and these guys give us great minutes, and somebody got to take on that second or third, pretty much that second score. Whether it's Porzingis, maybe he comes in and do it. I don't know what Porzingis has. I don't even know what his injury is, to be honest with you. But we need somebody to be that second scorer. If we get that second scorer, and we get that to be more aggressive, stay healthy, Al Horford stays healthy, and our others provide a big push, and Steve Kerr play the right guys, and had a good lineups, and make adjustments throughout the game. I think the Warriors got another chance, but I think they got a legitimate shot if everybody stays healthy. I know it sounds crazy. I know y'all just saying that just because But like y'all said in 22, they wasn't gonna win and they won. I think they got another shot this year. As long as those guys come back healthy. And speaking of that, Seth Curry. I'm not sure what's going on with Seth Curry lately, but he hadn't played in a while. When he did play, I think he played like 2 games. I only remember him for 2 games. I do know one of them games he had a great game. He came out good, like, okay, we got another shooter, we got another wing. He hasn't played since. I mean, if we signing brothers to just sit on the bench and get a check, because he ain't played but 2 games all year. If we just gonna sit on the bench and get a check, hey, I mean, my legs could work. I don't know how much I can run, but no. But I get up and down the court a little bit. But y'all need somebody to sit on the bench and get a check. Y'all can sign me. I'm just gonna say it like that. But no, I'm just playing with y'all. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. I'm out. Peace.